Ladies and gentlemen, how's everyone doing this evening? You know the routine. I just need to check and make sure that we are live streaming here. So just give me one more second to verify that we are up and running. Hopefully the sound is going. I'll just need to check one thing. So give me 1 second. We will get started. All right, hope everybody's enjoying their day. All right, I can already see that we're up. Give me 1 second. Very good. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I can verify that we are now live streaming. Everything is working fine. And you are now in my class. And I want to welcome everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Warren Nelson. And this is my school, Online Real Estate School Incorporated. And this free class that I am running right now, I have been running for probably the last 2.5, probably going on 3 years. And this class, this free class that you are in now, is designed to introduce you to the instructor, the curriculum, the program, and see if it works for you. So I designed this free class that I do every Monday to have it as an interview process for you, the student, to get a better understanding of what you can expect. Since I'm going to be your instructor, you won't have somebody else instructing you. So you'll get to see my style and what I will be teaching you in the class, not what my instructors will be teaching you. So if you're my pre-licensed class, I teach the pre-licensed class. I also teach the contract law classes. And so I teach young individuals, and when I say young, of any age, I mean early young in your career of real estate. So I take a young real estate professional and I teach them the real estate practice and fundamentals that are required in order for them to be licensed by the state. Okay, I do see that some of you are having a little problem hearing me. I see the comments, and so we'll make a few adjustments here real quick. And hopefully that will improve the sound. All right, very good. And get a little closer to the microphone. Maybe that will help out as well. So this class is designed as a pre-licensed class and a requirement by the state of Pennsylvania in order to get your real estate license. And so I do a live streaming class, ladies and gentlemen. I prefer the live streaming class because it can reach a larger audience. If you're in Pittsburgh, if you're in Harrisburg, if you're in Philadelphia, and all points in between in Pennsylvania, you can take my class. If you're in New York, if you're in New Jersey, and you want to get your Pennsylvania license, you don't have to drive all the way to a little classroom, all the way out in Philadelphia when you're in New York, when you're in New Jersey, or when you're in Pittsburgh or Harrisburg. What is the sense and the logic to drive to a local Philadelphia real estate class to get your Pennsylvania license? And so you'll find, ladies and gentlemen, that this is not a big business, pre-licensing. And so a lot of schools go by the wayside because they were in it for the money and realized there's not a lot of money in educating and teaching. This is more a labor of love and paying it forward, which is what I'm doing, ladies and gentlemen, for another year or so. And then I'm getting ready to retire. So I'm at the point in my life where I had experienced many things from the 80s to now, and you will see that history is repeating itself. For an old dog like myself, that's been in this real estate business, I've seen interest rates at 18 and 22%. I've seen the Federal Reserve raise interest rates, then have to pull it back, then raise it again just to try to control inflation. And what I've seen in the past, I'm getting to see again. So it makes it easy for me to be an instructor because I can teach from a historical point of knowledge and understanding, and I can see what's happening already, and it's just history repeating itself. So we've come off 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, of a pandemic, and we had a lot of supply and demand in the real estate market. We'll talk about supply and demand in the real estate market and all through the real estate class, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't understand supply and demand, then you don't understand business. If you don't understand management, then you're not going to be successful in business. And you will see that most businesses fail because of management and lack of management. And so we're going to be talking about that today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, I put together some notes because I want everybody to understand where we are, where you are, and where you are going. We have a lot of influencers today, influencers, with TikTok and social media. Since the birth of social media, a new form of life sprouted up called influencers. We used to know them as coaches and mentors and motivators back in the day. And today you might know them as influencers. And these influencers are supposed to have an influence on you to help you guide your life in a direction. There's a problem with that, though, ladies and gentlemen. It's hard to walk in somebody else's shoes. And when an influencer does nothing but talk about or brag about how they've been successful and how much money they earned, then this puts them on a pedestal that's very hard for somebody like you or I to become them. It's not easy to be someone else, ladies and gentlemen. So when you follow influencers and mentors and coaches, and they put themselves on a pedestal and talk about their success, that's not really a driving force to help you become successful. As a matter of fact, you're going to get to the point where you're tired of hearing about others and their success and how they became so successful, when all you really want is to be successful. You want to be an influencer, a motivator. That's what we always want. We always want things that we might not be able to have, because it doesn't happen automatically, ladies and gentlemen. Do you think the influencer automatically started out? Do you think somebody like myself, 30 years in the business, has started out like this, ladies and gentlemen? No. So you have to understand that if you want to be successful, there's only one technique that has always worked from time immemorial. And that technique is, ladies and gentlemen, drum roll, are you ready for the secret? You have to work to succeed. There is no get rich quick technique out there, ladies and gentlemen. Ask anybody who lost money on scratch off tickets or casinos because they saw one person become a multimillionaire and they believe that they could be a multimillionaire too. All they got to do is scratch off those tickets and keep pulling that one-armed bandit or keep laying the cards down. But there is no get rich quick technique, ladies and gentlemen. You'll end up in the poorhouse before you end up successful. And those get rich is nothing but a chance of luck, just like a slot machine, ladies and gentlemen. The slot machine is a computerized random number itemizer. Just it already knows what's going to be paying out that day. So you might sit there in front of that slot machine and think today is your lucky day. Today, you're going to be the big $9,000 winner. That's the top prize on this machine, $9,000. And you're chugging hundreds of dollars in to win the $9,000 or the $17,000 win. You got your goal set too low, ladies and gentlemen. And so you have to understand that there is no get rich technique. You have to work to succeed. That is the secret to success. And it's not a big secret, but nobody really wants to do it. Put in the effort, put in the time, do the work. There's got to be a better and easier way, isn't there? And as you waste your life trying to find the better way, you missed out on life's opportunities. You missed it. You were looking. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about capitalism and socialism for just a moment, all right? I don't want to get off track, but I do need to be an educator here. And so we are now starting to understand, ladies and gentlemen, if you realize what has happened in the last couple of days, and most people have not, most people are completely oblivious to life and what's going on. But there are those that understand that we just had a Build Back Better bill and a inflation reduction bill that just passed. And what did these bills do? Well, they designed an increase of revenue to pay for government, ladies and gentlemen. So there are no entitlement programs. There is no socialism. When we went through a pandemic and folks were getting $800 unemployment checks, and you thought, socialism is great. I can live off of this. I don't have to work. I can take this $800 a week government check and be happy. Don't have to do a darn thing. Well, everything comes around the roost every now and then, ladies and gentlemen. What just happened yesterday was a bill to raise the taxes on all the citizens to pay for the socialism that the government gave us during the pandemic. And what's going to pay for socialism? Capitalism. And so now, and I'll teach this in my class, ladies and gentlemen, so you understand I get a little energetic here. The government cannot offer you anything. Nothing, zilch, nada, nothing, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing the government can offer you is what you are willing to pay for. So there's no free health care. There's no free college. There's no free medical. And look what they did. It's a nice little design. Let's raise the prices to $8 a gallon and bring the prices back down to $5 a gallon and count it as a success story, even though it was $2 a gallon before these geniuses took office. All right. So you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that everything is an illusion. And so now all those $800 checks that went out, well, guess what? They can only print so much money. And so the Federal Reserve knows that if they keep printing money, what are they going to have to do to pay for that printing money? They're going to have to raise interest, because who gets the money that the Federal Reserve prints? It is the banks. The banks have to borrow the money from the Federal Reserve to lend to you. And so the banks don't get the money for free either. So what you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is the only way to be powerful, the only way to be successful is to be educated, is to be knowledgeable, not to be somebody else's fool, because that's what influencers do. They expect you to be so in love with the idea that you can be rich by doing nothing, that you're willing to pay good money to be rich by doing nothing, only to find out that nothing materialized except your bank account going lower and lower. And so when you get out of this idea that there is a get rich quick technique out there, that you will be a multimillionaire just by the power of attraction, well, you're missing the boat. You're putting way too much weight on the power of attraction. A power of attraction works if you apply it correctly, but you cannot apply the power of attraction until you learn the techniques and then what power of attraction is supposed to be doing. So everything is successful when it is implied or applied properly, ladies and gentlemen. So you can't just wish it and make things happen. It doesn't really work that way. And we got a big understanding that government cannot give you anything. The only thing government can do is give you what you pay for. Government only exists by your tax dollars, ladies and gentlemen. If everybody stopped paying taxes tomorrow, government would cease to exist tomorrow. And this is happening. People are starting to realize it. So government, in their infinite wisdom to keep their power, just passed a nice little law yesterday that hires 87,000 new IRS agents to produce revenue, to produce capital, to keep government going. So you got sold on a socialism idea that you can have free money, and guess what's going to happen? You're going to be paying out the wazoo for everybody is, ladies and gentlemen. And so now you're starting to get an understanding that you have to work to succeed. There is no get rich. And when the government makes fools out of us by thinking and making us think that we can have free college, free healthcare, free this, free that, and the government never comes through. I don't know how many years you have to be on this earth and fall for the same damn scam and the same darn lines over and over again, like suckers, and you keep going. And some of you don't even get any respect from me. Those who say, well, I just vote my party, I don't really put any thought process into it, you got no respect from me. Get out of my face. You are a sheep. You are a mule. You will never be anything but a follower. You'll never, ever be in a leader position. So anybody that says, well, I just vote my party, done. They're doomed. They were meant to be sheep. They were meant for what's coming down the pike. So now we are going to have to pay, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be paying handsomely. Now, let's get back to the real estate arena, because the real estate arena is the only thing that has saved us time and time and time again, ladies and gentlemen, when bonds and stocks and mutual funds go down, real estate is usually around. Even during a pandemic, when the stock market crashed, the real estate market was the only thing really surviving. So if you don't know by now, through the history, that real estate is really the game and where you will have a comfortable life and you will be successful if you understand real estate. Because here's what you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen. People need two things in life, two things that they cannot do without: food and shelter. Food and shelter. Shelter is a basic human need. And we can see a lot of states, ladies and gentlemen, not getting into the political arena, not here. In my class, we will. We have to. You need the knowledge of the political arena in order to be successful in your business, or you're going to be taken advantage of. So some states really suffered and some states really prospered during the pandemic. So we had an exodus out of New York and New Jersey. We had an exodus out of Washington and California. And those people who were leaving those states during the pandemic, because the lockdown was so restrictive that they couldn't even leave their house, they were saying that this is not a life for me. And so they were leaving and going to Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Florida, Texas, Arizona, states that were much more liberal and much more, and I don't mean liberal in the political sense of the word, I mean liberal in the life sense of the word, where you have your freedoms, you have your available, you don't have to be locked down. So in this country, ladies and gentlemen, you're not going to sell socialism. People like their freedom, so much so that they're willing to leave everything behind to go to another state to continue living their life as free society. And so real estate, ladies and gentlemen, is the only thing that kept us afloat when restaurants were going out of business, when everybody else was out of business. Real estate was deemed essential. There's no way that you can stop the real estate arena, even during a pandemic. So if you understand that even a pandemic cannot stop the real estate arena, then you will understand that you are venturing into an arena that should produce an income for you for at least your lifetime. Because this real estate arena, ladies and gentlemen, is not something new. It didn't come out of good times and bad times. The real estate arena and the real estate representation business has been around for almost 100 years, ladies and gentlemen, at least. And so we're not really doing anything different today that we haven't done in the last 50 years. It's the same thing. Comes down to understanding, education, and representation. So in this arena, ladies and gentlemen, in order to get a real estate license, once you have a real estate license, you have a ticket to ride. You got a license to make money. That's the power of a real estate license, ladies and gentlemen. The real estate license entitles you to earn income. And without that license, you cannot earn income in the real estate arena by trying to help anybody else with their real estate affairs. So you cannot. You can be a gratuitous person. You could be a volunteer. You can always help somebody. But the minute that you want compensation for your services in this state, you need a real estate license. The minute you take a lease and a security deposit in this state, you need a real estate license. And there are other things that you need to know before you venture into real estate. So if you go to YouTube and you believe that real estate gurus are easy, it's easy to sell real estate, it's easy to do this. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand the times. In the last 2 years, we were in what's called a seller's market. Sellers were able to ask ridiculously high prices for their property only because of supply and demand. And we'll talk a lot about supply and demand. I told you already, if you don't understand supply and demand, then you're not going to understand your business. And if you don't understand management, your business is doomed to fail. So supply and demand, every business. Supply is the available properties for sale, and demand is those who seek to buy these properties. And in the last 2 years, Pennsylvania was a state, like other states, that were really prospering, which means we had so many buyers leaving other states and coming to different states, that those sellers in those states were able to ask ridiculously high price for the property because so many wanted to buy it. So we had so much demand that sellers were able to ask high prices and buyers were willing to compete with each other to buy that property because we didn't have a lot of supply. So supply and demand. And that's going to be a big factor for a lot of your businesses, ladies and gentlemen, not just the real estate business. I don't care if you're managing a Rite Aids. If you don't know what needs to be on the shelf, if you don't know what's selling, what the shelf's bare of, and you don't know what to reorder, you don't know your supply and demand. All right. You don't know what your customers are buying. You don't know what's still on the shelf and what's flying off the shelves. So if you don't understand supply and demand, then you're not going to be able to run any kind of business, ladies and gentlemen, because you lack the basic understanding of the business, which starts with supply and demand. If you have no customers, if you have no clients, then you have no business. You have no income coming in. So you have to start learning not only how to create and open a business, but you got to learn how to generate leads and clients and customers for the business. This is why I say, ladies and gentlemen, it's a little bit of work, but that work always pays off for anybody who puts in the effort, for anybody who puts in the work, then you will usually see the rewards. All right. Let's just say that you work 2 jobs and you have no time for anything else. And since you have no time for anything else, but you are working 2 jobs, you're starting to notice that you have a little bit of a savings. You start having some money in the bank, which you didn't have before because you had time on your hands, and that time caused you to spend money because you had time on your hands. But now that you're working 2 jobs and you don't have any time to do anything else, now you're starting to realize that you're starting to have savings. But it's not really a job or a life that you want to live where you're working 2 jobs around the clock and doing the same routine. So what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen, instead of working hard, is you want to start working smart. And that is the key to success. Hearing other people brag about their success gets tiresome after a while. And trying to live your life like some other guru and walk in their shoes, it's almost impossible. So what you find yourself doing is not meeting up to the challenge of being that individual, not in your eyes, not in your mind. You're not them, even though you want to be, but you didn't understand what it took for them to get where they are. They had to work, ladies and gentlemen, to get where they are. And so they brag about their success, but it did not come easy. They had to work for it. And so the lesson that I need you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, is that you need to work to succeed. And if you have that caliber, because we have a generation that is really lacking that ability to work. Some of my students are very blessed to have mother and father in the picture, where the father is still the disciplinary. The father's going to allow you to get your bumps and your bruises. They're going to allow you to fall down and get back up. A mother will like to keep you from falling down and shelter you from falling. And so if you have just the mother figure in your life, which we had a big generation that had just the mother figure in their life, and they didn't have the father figure in that life, then they missed out on those bumps and bruises, the requirement to leave the nest. Let's take a bird, ladies and gentlemen. When the birds have little birdies, all right, when those little birdies get to be a certain point in time, the parent birds will push them out of the nest, and they will either fly or perish. That is the rule of the nature of the wild. And so you succeed or you fail. But the father is there to push and motivate the children to do things that the children might not want to do. And that is always going to be the leader, ladies and gentlemen. And so I'm not saying that mothers are not leaders. Those mothers that can allow their children to cry, allow their children to fall down, and allow their children without giving in would be good disciplinaries and give those children the discipline and the knowledge that they need. But if they keep catering to them every time they cry, then these children will grow up believing that they're entitled to something every time they cry, and they will lose out on life. When they get older and they leave the nest, they will not have the discipline that the father usually teaches them, how to pay the bills, how to make your way, how to find a job, how to do this and that. And so when they leave the nest, they'll find themselves running back home because they don't have the tools to survive on their own. And so you have to understand that you need to fall down. You need to get your bumps and bruises. You need to get roughed up in the process of learning so that you don't make the mistakes again. If you don't make your mistakes, chances are you might never learn the lessons. And so I was blessed to make a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I didn't have nobody helping me or teaching me. So I had to learn by my mistakes. And fortunately, I was smart enough to learn that I didn't want to make the mistake again. So I had to do something to prevent from making the mistake again. And then when you start polishing things, other people see that you are successful. And the only reason that you are now successful is because of the hard work that you're doing. And other people start seeing your success and they want to say to you, how can I become like you? And all of a sudden, you start thinking, I could be a team leader, I could be a coach, I could be a mentor, when really, all they really wanted to know was one quick answer, how can I be like you? The answer is, you have to work to succeed. That's it. So if you want to be like me, especially like me, if you want to be like me and have schools and real estate brokerage and business, it didn't come easy, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, right this moment, I do not feel well at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'll tell you, I'm not feeling good. My stomach's upset, but it doesn't matter. Boo-hoo-hoo. I don't feel good. Still got to work. Still got to get out there and succeed. Still got to make the word available that you can be successful. And I can't boo-hoo because I don't feel good right now. I don't feel good at all. But it's not going to stop me from doing what I need to do, ladies and gentlemen. This hour is almost halfway through. All right, we're already halfway done this hour. I told you it's the quickest hour in real estate. And we didn't even get to real estate yet. We only got to you and where you want to go and what you've been relying on. You've been relying on false information, ladies and gentlemen. We got media that's giving us false information. We got influencers and leaders that are giving us false information. And unless somebody comes along and starts dealing with reality, you are going to live an illusion and you will live a life of destitute and poorness because you never learned the fundamentals that you need to work to succeed. In the real estate arena, ladies and gentlemen, it's not hard work. It's not physical work, it's mental. And what we do in the real estate arena is we represent others. And in the process of representing others and helping others, we are rewarded for what we put forth. Because we had the ability, the education and knowledge to be able to help someone else in the real estate arena, we were able to enjoy the rewards and the benefits of that. And fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, it's a numbers game. Not everybody's going to put in the effort. Some of you might even be forced to put in the effort because you have that father figure or that mother figure in your life that wants you to succeed and is forcing you to succeed by making you learn what you need to learn to be successful. And so that is not bad parenting. That is great parental guidance, ladies and gentlemen. You've got to be cruel to be kind in the right measures. But if you keep catering to the child that cries and cries and cries, you are depriving that child of the ability to get their bumps and bruises. And when the time comes to leave the nest, they are going to be ill prepared for the world because the world does not cater to the crybabies. The world does not cater and give out entitlements. It doesn't happen. I don't care how long you've been on this earth. I don't care if you've been on this earth for 18 years or 88 years. By now, you should have seen some kind of a pattern of a repeat system. And government is the best example of a repeat pattern of doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And now, all these entitlement, the socialism that we were sold during the pandemic, ladies and gentlemen, is coming to roost. And now we're going to be paying. Our taxes are going to be going up. Our enforcement or regulations are going to be going up. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how we pay for socialism. All right. So we will be paying for it. And you have to understand, if we don't get back to a society that understands that the only way that this society can be successful is by the hard work and the efforts that we put in, then we are doomed to fail. And so I am very, very lucky that the people who come to my class are those who, one, are adults of any age, 18 to 188, doesn't matter, and want to learn. So those who come to my class have a desire. They want to learn, they're willing to invest in that education, and they understand that this education that they are paying for has already having a proven track record for the last 50 to 100 years to be successful. You can go back from time immemorial, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that every millionaire, billionaire, and trillionaire has had real estate in their portfolio. They did not make their money by stocks, bonds, mutual funds. Now, some of them got lucky in the tech world, but those were passing little fads. And if you missed the boat in that 1 or 2 years and you weren't in that arena, then why cry that why hasn't happened to me? One, you don't have the education in the tech world to capitalize off the tech boom. So you wasn't going to make any money there anyway. And two, you don't have the gift of knowing the random numbers that the slot machine is going to be pulling up to be able to make money every day. And so you have to understand that the only way that you're going to be making money, the only way that you're going to be making success for you, your children, your family, is by putting in the work, ladies and gentlemen. You have to work to succeed. And if you have to work to succeed, then why not do something where it doesn't require a lot of physical, manual labor? That's not the work to succeed that I would recommend. Unfortunately, we do need that. We need our electricians. We need our plumbers. We need our laborers. If we didn't have them, then things would not get done, ladies and gentlemen. So you have to decide right now which course of action that you want to apply your knowledge to. Will this effort of learning this particular field pay off for you? And so if you use history as a barometer, then it would be a safe bet that real estate is most likely going to work and work out well. Now, let's talk about history, ladies and gentlemen, because during the Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan eras, ladies and gentlemen, you are seeing those two presidents and what happened in their term repeating itself. And what just happened yesterday with the Inflation Reduction Act, what a comical joke that is. But what that cost is a lot of heartache and a lot of oversight for us to pay back the government for all the socialism that they gave us in the last 2 years. And so we will be paying for many years to come under this new law for the 2 years of socialism that we had. So there's your lesson, ladies and gentlemen. So your free ride, that $800 a week unemployment check that you thought you were so genius getting, well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You will be paying for it, as I tried to teach you back in the day, that there are no get rich and there are no free rides, and socialism cannot survive because government will always want power and money. And so you saw that in this bill. 87,000 new IRS agents are now going to be enforcing the repayment of socialism so that the government can have their power and their till back. And so that is the reality, ladies and gentlemen, that there is no socialism, not in this country. Our government is run by capitalism. Our government is run by greed. And billions of dollars were just created for not you, the common Joe. You will pay. You're the common Joe. So your taxes will go up. Your regulations will be more restricted to give the government back their power, their glory. And again, as I said, we will be taken advantage of. Why? Because we are conditioned to be civilized. We are a civilized society. And because we are a civilized society and well-behaved, we are now at a disadvantage. And the government knows that they can take advantage of us. Now they can do illegal searches. They can do illegal seizures. They can do illegal stops. And guess what? What are you going to do about it? So this is what happens, ladies and gentlemen, when things run amok and people become so servient and so civilized that they become victims of their teaching. And so we can cry if we want, but if we ever want the freedoms and the powers that we had once before, there's only one way of doing that, and it's always by taking it back. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that, ladies and gentlemen. I want to keep this in a real estate arena and make it understood. But here's what you need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to share my screen with you, that you are taking two classes, real estate practice and real estate fundamentals. Real estate fundamentals deals with the laws. And since we got new laws that are just going into effect yesterday, you as a real estate agent and your continuing education have to stay abreast of these new laws and these new tax codes that government is now enforcing upon us. And don't cry about it, boo-hoo-hoo, because elections have their results, ladies and gentlemen. And so if you are crying because you are getting hit with new taxes and you're going to be paying, remember how you voted. And so don't come crying to me if you voted this way and this is how it turns out. You got suckered once again, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not going to be the first time. It's not going to be the last time, especially for those who just vote their party without a brain cell in their head. They will always be a problem that our society will have to pay for and deal with. And so I would prefer that you are in an arena that has proven to be successful no matter what government and time has done. Even through recessions and Great Depressions, real estate has always been the key to getting out of a jam, out of a tight situation. Now, some of you are so influenced by the media that you might be saying, do you hear what's going on in the news today? Now's not the time to be buying real estate. Psh, you missed the whole lesson that I've been giving you. You're still being influenced. You're still being guided without a clue in your head about education, without any knowledge of the history. All you understand is what the nightly media is telling you, and that is as far as your education goes. You need to get beyond that point, ladies and gentlemen. You need to get out of that rut and understand that the media is there designed to sell you or guide you in a direction. Television, the television boob screen, that screen gets bigger and bigger and bigger as we go along, ladies and gentlemen. Television was designed to be nothing more than a marketing platform. The whole premise of television is to be a marketing platform. It's designed to sell you or guide you and influence you. And so children are very susceptible to television. Mommy, Daddy, I want that. I want that. So it starts at a very early age, this influence over you, the television. And so the television, ladies and gentlemen, was designed, it's even got spoofed, I won't go into the spoof, designed to make sure that if there's not a message out there, maybe there should be a subliminal message in there to guide you, to make you do something that we would like you to do. So you have to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that if you're listening to the media, you are designed to be held back. You are designed to be a failure because you're already saying what they want you to do. Now's not the time to be buying real estate. Now you should be sitting on the fence and wait for the crap to hit the fan and wait for properties to go down and then buy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So now some of you are even crying about the last 3 years. Oh, I wish I would have bought when the market was great. Now I'm waiting. See, that doesn't make sense. So you're saying that if you would have bought 2 years ago when the prices were going up and now prices are going to get ready to go down, that you were better off buying then than waiting to buy now. It doesn't work, ladies and gentlemen. None of that, you don't understand the whole concept. Now's the time to be buying real estate. When interest rates are going up, when inflation is going up, the time to be buying real estate to hedge your bet is now. Let inflation go up. Let interest rates go up. Lock down that property, get that first property, ladies and gentlemen. And when interest rates go up and you're locked into a 30-year fixed rate, you will be doing great. Even if you buy property at the top, 18% interest rate, because you're like 18%, that's kind of ridiculous. Is it? Is it? Because I have news for you. 12% interest rate is right around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. The banks control everything. These 87 IRS agents don't work for the government. They work for the bank. The IRS is a collection agency that has one client, the banks. And so understand, ladies and gentlemen, that government and banks control the world, they control the government. So this 87,000 IRS agents is there to collect interest or taxes for the banks, not for the government. The government gets their money from the banks. All right, so there's an illusion. There's a design plan to keep you confused and not knowing what's going on. If you buy property at 18% interest, you bought that property, it was still an excellent, smart play. Because when the interest starts going back down, ebb and flow, like the tide, ladies and gentlemen, the tide comes in, the tide goes out. Just like history, ebb and flow. When those interest rates start going down and you were still smart enough to buy 18%, now you get to capitalize off of the refinance of the lower interest rate and the equity that you got to build in. It doesn't matter in good times or bad times, real estate is still designed to work for you at any time in the arena. Good times and bad times, real estate is still going to have a positive a positive effect on your life. One, you got shelter. Two, you have equity being built up. Even in bad times, if the equity is not being built up, wait the course, the equity will be building up. And now you can turn that equity into other things like a line of credit. Be nice to have a house and maybe a $30,000, $40,000 line of credit in the bank to boot, wouldn't it? Only real estate would have done that for you, ladies and gentlemen. Also, the capital gains exclusion. Under a certain president, I don't like to mention presidents because our society is so emotional. They're so sensitive. You can't even breathe without offending somebody today. So I don't even bother worrying about offending them. If I offend them, I offend them. You know what happens when you're offended? Nothing. You're offended. But now you need attention. So you want to tell everybody how offended you are. So you just seek the attention, but you weren't really ever offended. But again, that is the society. So if you start trying to cater to every little temper tantrum out there, every little hurt feeling, you will be spending your life ridiculous trying to cater to those that you should not be catering to. Don't waste a moment on the crybaby. Ladies and gentlemen, let them cry. That's what I would do as a parent. Let them cry till they fall asleep. When they realize that the crying is not going to pay off for them, then they're not going to waste their efforts in the crying anymore. So let them cry. All right, they'll stop crying eventually. But if you keep catering to them every time they cry, you're going to be expected to cater to them every time. And you get in that rut, ladies and gentlemen, it's tough to get out of that rut. So let's talk about your life. Let's talk about your future. And no matter what the government is doing, ladies and gentlemen, if you understand that knowledge is power, the only thing that's going to get you through life is an education and understanding how to apply the education to your life, then you will be successful. Now, some of you might not want to hear that. Some of you might be like, not for me, not for me. It's true. It is not for you. Not everybody is designed to be successful. Some are designed to always be there cleaning up. That's it. You made that course because you decided not to put the effort into the education. Don't cry. You took an easy way out, and the easy way did not pay off for you. Don't cry. Well, maybe that's all you can do is cry. That's all you got. So this is why I love teaching real estate, because those who come to my class, one, are adults of all ages, and two, they want to learn. They want to learn. They want to be successful, and they understand that knowledge is power. Ignorance is bliss, but knowledge is power. And with that knowledge, you can go on to help many folks. And in that process of helping them, you will receive the greatest rewards that life has to offer you. So, real estate, everything that we just went through, real estate has prevailed. Even when we were in a pandemic, lockdown, and there was rent moratorium and mortgage moratorium, the equity that was in these properties were allowing people to not pay their mortgage for 2 years in a COVID restriction moratorium. The equity that was in the house after we came out of the COVID was plenty that they were able to come out of COVID and pay all their bills from the equity they had in the home. But if you didn't have a home, if you were living in an apartment during COVID and you didn't pay your rent, well, guess what? You now have deficiency judgments against your credit report when you thought you didn't have to pay rent because the government said you didn't have to, you're entitled to free rent. And now guess what happens after that supposed entitlement runs out? And now in the back end, you got to pay your mortgage, you got to pay the rent. And if you didn't, because you thought you were entitled to free living, you're now finding a hard price to pay because your credit report now has the deficiency judgment against it. And you're like, what the heck's a deficiency judgment? You'll learn that in my class as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I wanted this class to be a little bit more of a motivator rather than the class to let you know that you can be successful if you choose to be, but there's no free ride. It's not quick. And now you're going to have to understand that the government is using capitalism now to pay for the socialism that they gave you. And so we will have to pay. So if you're going to have to pay, ladies and gentlemen, you will, then you want to make sure that you're making enough income to pay this government their new tax dollars that they need, because government cannot exist without your taxes, ladies and gentlemen. If everybody stopped paying taxes tomorrow, government would cease to exist tomorrow. The only reason government's able to exist is because they pry on civilized society. And because we're civilized, because we are humble, because we are the way we are designed to not put up a fight. We are designed to just pay and go along. And so that civilized society is a crutch to us. And it is uncivilized behavior that is getting the most results today. And it's about to stop. But in any way, it is the uncivilized behavior that's getting the attention and getting the results. What are those results? Well, certain groups made a lot of money, but those uncivilized participants that did all the looting and the rioting, what did they get? They got nothing, all right? They destroyed their own because they were easily influenced because they lacked the education to know better. And because they lacked the education to know better, they were easily guided and persuaded to do things that they probably ordinarily would never do. But that's the power of persuasion, ladies and gentlemen. So persuasion is good if it leads to a positive outcome. Persuasion is bad when it leads to a negative outcome. So there's lots of lessons, ladies and gentlemen, and I don't want to be jumping around. What I want to do is I want you to understand that you can be the influencer. You can be the mentor. You can be what you want to be. Not only just believing that you could be, but working to be what you want to be. And so if you want the things that you want in life, understand, ladies and gentlemen, that one way or another, you're going to have to work for it. It's not going to happen. It's not going to, you can dream all you want. You can imagine. And 1 in 10 million, 1 in 110 million might get lucky and hit the Powerball for millions and billions of dollars. But if that's not you, then how do you go on to the next day? What do you do now that you did not become the billionaire of the Powerball lottery? All right. And maybe it's a blessing. All right. So a lot of people, again, management, don't know how to manage their money when they come into that money, and life could be tough. So the things that you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, 2 things to be completely successful in this world. 1, you have to work to succeed. And 2, you have to manage everything that you do. And if you're not good at management, everything you work for could easily fall apart. And in this class of real estate practice and real estate fundamental. The state designed this class to teach you the basic knowledge, the understanding that you need to be successful in the real estate arena. So this real estate arena starts you off with a 75-hour class of the necessary knowledge of principle and fundamentals to get you started. Without this, the state will not allow you to have a real estate license. There is no entitlement program here. You don't get a real estate license just because you want one, and you don't get into the real estate business just because you want to, because you have to understand it. Fundamentals, let's talk about fundamentals. Real estate fundamentals deals with the law, ladies and gentlemen, federal law, state law, local law, ordinance laws, fair housing laws, discrimination, the American Disability Act, compliance with building codes. So these laws are there to make sure that you understand what we can and cannot do in the real estate arena and how it applies. The real estate practice is dealing with the client, the contracts, taking them out to see the property, helping negotiate. Without knowledge, without education, how do you think that you're going to be able to negotiate a contract for someone? Do you think if you just take them out HGTV? I love it. It's a very good motivational show, but life doesn't happen in a half an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Life doesn't happen in an hour show. So you always get to see the beginning to the end in a half an hour end, and you think that's how life is. I could make $50,000 on that transaction. I could have done what they did. But all you got to see is what they wanted you to see in that half-hour show. And so understand, life doesn't work that way, ladies and gentlemen. You need to be educated. And the real estate arena understands this. You have to have 75 hours of thorough educational understanding before you can go on to get your license. And that is a good format to protect the public and society from uneducated and unscrupulous real estate agents. All right. Some agents don't have any license at all, ladies and gentlemen. I can't believe how many commercial real estate agents believe that they don't need a real estate license to sell commercial real estate. I don't know where that moronic understanding came from, but it's nothing more than moronic understanding. It's not correct. It's not legal. So understanding what you can and cannot do in the real estate arena is the first thing that you need to be successful. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. And this class, the 75-hour class, is designed by the state to make sure that you have a reasonable amount of knowledge in real estate so that you can go out and start making money and start earning compensation. Without the real estate license, you cannot receive compensation for your services rendered in the real estate arena for anyone else. You're not allowed to receive compensation without the real estate license. That's why I love the real estate license, ladies and gentlemen. I consider the license way more powerful than a PhD. Hell, everybody's got a PhD today. Everybody. You ever see that show where you smarter than a fifth grader or a seventh grader? I forget what it is. And you got people with PhDs that are not smarter than a seventh grader. All right. So I don't consider a PhD or college paperwork that great because that doesn't entitle you to income. That doesn't entitle you to find a job in that arena that could earn income, but the paperwork that you got from the college doesn't entitle you to income. But your real estate license entitles you to income. And that's what makes the real estate license a very powerful mechanism to have, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're ever going to achieve any acclimates, may I suggest that you go for that real estate license? Because the real estate license, out of all the paperwork that you've achieved, entitles you to earn compensation. Without it, you're not allowed the compensation in the real estate arena. So I do this show every Monday. Do I know what the topic's going to be? Do I know, ladies and gentlemen? As a matter of fact, I had no topic until about a half an hour before the show started because I'm busy. I'm running a real estate business. I'm dealing with clients. I'm dealing with new students. I'm dealing with parents. I'm doing all this stuff, and yet still got to do it. I still got to get this hour show in. I only got 6 minutes left, and I barely even touched the surface of the things that could be materializing for you if you understand how to simply apply the effort into working to be successful. So this class is designed that way, ladies and gentlemen. If you really want a better life, if you really want a better income, then may I suggest that you take this path that's been here for a very, very long time It's still viable, it's still feasible, and it still works. So I'm happy. I'm happy with the income I'm making, and my students are happy with where they are now. They would not be there if they did not take this journey, if they did not take this road. So, ladies and gentlemen, Online Real Estate School Incorporated. You see it right behind me. Online Real Estate School Incorporated.com. All right. Online Real Estate School Inc.com. Inc. stands for incorporate. We'll talk about that in class. We'll talk about the difference between sole proprietorship, partnerships, corporations, LLC, syndications, trust. Big one. I love teaching trust. I tell everybody that in my class, not only am I going to teach you what you need to know to pass the exam, I'm also going to teach you how to run a real estate business. There's no sense of getting a license if you don't know how to run the real estate business. And many of the real estate schools are designed just like that. They'll teach you how to pass an exam. You go and pass the exam, and now you don't know what to do next. So my school is designed to teach you how to run a real estate business, not only how to pass the exam, but how to run a real estate business and how to invest in property. And if you don't understand how to invest in property, ladies and gentlemen, there's no such thing as an assignment or an assumption of a mortgage if you don't understand the alienation clause and the acceleration clause in the mortgage. You're like, what? Alienation clause, acceleration clause? You would have got suckered on an assignment or assumption and not know what would happen. Understand, interest rates are going to go up, and many people are going to be influenced by the media. They're going to be controlled, just like flock, and they're going to be sitting on the sidelines waiting for better days to come. But my students will be knowing the better days are now. Now, I don't care if interest rates are going up or down. That has nothing to do with anything, really, ladies and gentlemen. Not in the real estate arena. Supply and demand talks about the price. Interest rates going up don't mean prices are going to come down. That has nothing to do. There's no correlation there. And prices will come down when people stop buying. And if there's nobody buying, then the prices will come down. Ladies and gentlemen, we have plenty of buyers. Even though we're in an inflationary period of time, people are still spending. They're still buying. World still goes on. And understand, ladies and gentlemen, that you will miss this opportunity, this boat, if you don't apply yourself and get the education in the real estate arena that's been proven to be successful for 100 years. Everybody in the real estate business, as long as they apply themselves. You have people in the real estate business that are so lazy, they are waiting for the phone to ring and they cry, nobody calls me for me to help them, because you don't understand how to run a business. So this school is designed to teach you how to run that real estate business in order to be successful. Without these principal understandings, passing the exam is not going to do you a world of good, ladies and gentlemen. So this class, this school is designed to do just that. If you've been noticing, I've been looking at this clock and I'm down to my last 2 minutes. This is the quickest hour in real estate, ladies and gentlemen. And the things that you're going to learn in my class are going to carry you on for years and years and years to come. And that's why I love this class, because I'm the first person that you get to meet in your real estate arena. And I'm the person that you will remember for many, many years to come, because those years to come would not have happened if you did not invest in yourself and take this class, ladies and gentlemen. So kudos to the fathers and the parents out there that are forcing their children to be educated. Kudos to those who are investing in themselves and realize that education is the way to go and knowledge is power. And kudos to those who are even at this free show right now, taking this little interview process to see if this is the route you want to go, because now you're making the effort to know more. So Online Real Estate School, I run 2 classes, ladies and gentlemen. Our next class starts August 23rd. I got 3 classes left this year. 3 classes left. Those classes are August 23rd, September 27th, and October 25th. These are the last 3 classes that I'll be running this year. And who knows what the future holds? Will I run another year? Will I be retiring? I don't know. These could be the last 3 classes that I'll be teaching, ladies and gentlemen. I haven't decided yet, but I got 3 classes left this year. I would suggest that if you really want the best education that a real estate school can offer at this point in time, that you consider joining one of my last 3 classes. And you will be very, very happy that you did. You did not miss the opportunity that was presented to you. Ladies and gentlemen, my classes are $299 for real estate practice, which is a 4-week class, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for 4 weeks. And then the following month, it's $299 for real estate practice. So we got real estate practice and real estate fundamentals, 2 subjects. If you take a 3-week class to try to learn these 2 subjects, I assure you, you're going to come up short. Big time. If you try to take an online course and you don't understand the language that you're about to learn, you're going to come up short. And nobody wants to hire anybody that took a 3-week class or an online course because they already know what they're going to be dealing with this new agent. And they're going to need a lot of attention, a lot of care. This is why brokers don't like working with brand new agents, because the brand new agents are going to be making a lot of mistakes. They're needy. They need a lot of hands-on. And this is why somebody like me takes that risk of working with brand new agents. So I have the college. So this is the school, online real estate school, that you have to come to get your license. But then the college that I teach after you get your license is the on-the-job training, where we deal with the clients, the contracts, on-the-job training. And so I have a school and I have the college that takes you and puts you right in the field, puts you right with the client. And so this is the way that you design management. In order for me to have you successful, I have to understand the proper management techniques that you have to apply in order to get there. So that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank all my viewers, especially my diehard viewers that never miss a show. I love your comments. And I don't get very many negative comments. There are some losers that don't never ever want to achieve anything, so they want everybody else to be held back, and they're just looking for attention. So I do have some small time negative comments, but for the most part, ladies and gentlemen, the comments are positive. And since this is live streaming on many different social media platforms, not just like YouTube, YouTube's just like one platform that this is going out to. The social media platforms that I use, I get lots of comments from all these different social media. So I don't just use one platform, I use many different platforms to do this live streaming show. So I am being told that my time is up, ladies and gentlemen. It's a couple minutes after 7. So online real estate school, our next class is August 23rd. You only need $299 to invest in your future to get started. There's 2 classes, $299 for the one class, $299 for the second class. You need to take 2 classes, real estate practice and real estate fundamentals. And my class is designed as an 8-week class, not a 3-week class. My class is designed to make sure that we are redundant, that it sinks into your brain, that you get the knowledge that you want. I don't want to just rush you through the class and take your money and say next. Also, with my class, ladies and gentlemen, once you pay for the class, you never have to pay for it again. You can come back to the class again and again, free of charge. This will be your alma mater. So our next class is August 23rd. I'll have one more free class next Monday, and then the next day is our class. And so August 23rd is our next class, my last 3 classes of the year. Please jump into them. Don't miss this opportunity. Please read my reviews, see what my students have said about the class. All my reviews are bona fide reviews, and I am 5-star review. And I'm very proud of the 5-star review, but I'm more proud of the comments that my students have given me in their review, because you can hear it, ladies and gentlemen. You can read it. You can feel the sincerity of their appreciation in those reviews. So please read my reviews. I didn't even have time to put up my commercial. That's how fast this hour went, ladies and gentlemen. So no time for the rest. So next class, August 23rd, please go to my class. I can take the payments by the website, Zelle, Cash App. Even if you need to make arrangements, let me know, ladies and gentlemen. I'm always willing to work with you. So online real estate school, next class, August 23rd. I have a morning class, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursday, 9 to 1. And I have an evening class, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. These classes were designed to work around your 3 schedules that we usually work in life. So if you work the 3 to 11 shift, there's not another school out there, ladies and gentlemen, to accommodate your schedule. All right. So I knew that the 3 to 11 shifts were the ones that really hurt it the most. They could not come to classes. So I designed these classes to accommodate every shift out there so that you should be able to do your job, work, and still be able to educate yourself and better yourself with my classes. They are live streaming classes, so you can be anywhere and still take my classes, and you'll see how my classes are designed so that you don't lose focus in my class. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so this is another successful class of online real estate school. Please hit the likes, the bells, the subscribes. I got to keep remembering to do all that because if I got different social medias and they all got different platforms. Keep your comments coming. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. And my time has come. I will see everybody next Monday, and I hope to see you in my class. I'm looking forward to making you all a licensed real estate professional this year. Be safe, be healthy, be happy. God will. I'll see everybody again shortly. Ciao.